Good to go whenever you're ready, guys.
All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to our show, Cocktails and Real Estate with
You.
Jen and Kyle. I'm
Woo.
super excited to be here. Give you guys some real estate knowledge. Talk about cocktails. We love cocktails. Big part of our show. Jen, what do we have today?
Yeah, we're going to kick off our show and we're going to wet our whistles with
Wet
my
our
favorite classic of a Moscow Mule, which is super simple. It's vodka, ginger beer, and lime. So it's happy hour where we are. So we're going to make a little cocktail and we'll keep the theme going as we do this. But
I like that slogan too. Wet our whistle.
right, wet our whistle. We're Whistle Realty, in case we didn't know. Been with this team for a few years and love it. And I feel that real estate can get really serious sometimes. So I just wanted to get together with my friend Kyle. He is an agent super similar with my style. We care a lot about our people, and we wanted to just keep it light. Have a
Yeah.
cocktail, have some limes. I'm gonna add some ginger beer here.
I just did that thing. You ever see that? The meme, the go, 2 shots of vodka. Go.
No, I haven't yet.
Yes.
I'm gonna need
so
to.
I added you. I gave you a nice little,
I got your ginger
nice
beer.
amount there. Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Right.
So we're going to talk about, we want to keep this simple and start with buyers, right? Because we work with a lot of sellers also, but right now I know there's a lot of mystery in the real estate market. There's a lot changing, a lot of buyers saying, is it a good time right now? Do I even hold back and wait, or do I go forward? So we want to start with just keeping it simple with the first 3 steps that are important for a buyer. Because I think that we hear a lot of times of people starting out of order and it can make it kind of rough. So we want to take it just, again, down to the simplicity and as smooth as possible for you guys out there. If that's you now, or if that's you in 6 months, or even a year out, I think this can be valuable.
Yeah. And sorry, my producer Thomas over here told me not to spill. I'm kind of struggling. I thought it was gonna be a lot easier than it was.
Maybe next time we'll pre-make them. So
yes.
cheers.
But cheers. Looking forward to it.
So the 3 steps we're kind of going to run through today are going to be, what it's going to start with is interviewing a real estate agent. So we'll get to all of that. We're going to do an agent, who you're going to meet and who you work with matters. We're going to talk about game plan and getting aligned. And then we're going to take the mystery out of meeting a lender and getting pre-approved and creative financing that's possible.
Yes. And I think before we get into all of that, I think there's an elephant in the room that, a lot of buyers, a lot of people in general have a misconception about, right? I think that, everyone's looking towards the media. They see interest rates falling, rising. They see home values decreasing or increasing. They see inflation. They're kind of wondering if the market's going to crash, all this stuff. The rule of thumb, you got to block out the noise.
Yeah.
Stop looking at that. Get face-to-face with the real estate agent, because the main goal should really be about finding your monthly payment. I think that's the most important, because
so like starting there, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And when we talk about, we'll get into creative financing, obviously, but I think it's so huge to really dial in your monthly payment, because that's what sounds normal to, the everyday person. They're really curious about what they're going to be paying every month. They're, if we can get you that monthly payment with a 10% interest rate, you're going to be open to listening and learning about it, right?
Right. And that is the real elephant in the room, is we're hearing people get scared off by friends that bought 2 years ago. And while that's amazing, you got in at a great rate. I heard my dad last month and he's like, Jen, when I bought, it was 15% interest rate and we didn't even blink. So we'll come back to the financing for point number 3, but really we want to share that it's about, if your monthly payment can keep you comfortable and we can get you in a house today where you're going to refinance over the next couple of years anyway, you're going to beat competition that's waiting on the fence. So that is a great point to start with.
Exactly. So we are wetting our whistle. We are going to wet your whistle as well on some real estate knowledge, and I'm really excited. So Jen, you want to start us off? Talk about step 1.
Yes. Step number 1 is going to be meeting with a real estate agent. And I know that it gets really enticing to like pull over and go see open houses, right? Or just be scrolling with your honey in bed, looking at Zillow and being like, look at this dream house. And it has an open house on Sunday. And while it is wonderful to step in and see a home for real life and imagine yourself being in there, what if it is $50K, $100K over your budget? Like, right. I think that's not fun at all to shop like that, right? And so don't be scared to meet the right real estate agent either, because I just met somebody last week and they were like, man, I've been out shopping already, but nobody has sat down and given me the information that you guys do. So I know that you actually helped me really dial in the strategy session. So tell me a little bit about what you do with your clients when you first meet them.
I mean, I'm a big sports guy. You know that. So
I do.
I use words that associate with sports, like game plan. I think having a game plan is so imperative. And that ties into interviewing an agent, because you got to mesh with the right person.
Yeah.
You know, this is the biggest purchase of your life, right? And, you know, really building a relationship, building a foundation with the person that's going to help you out with that purchase is so important. So getting that game plan and interviewing multiple agents, because there could be someone that walks in that meshes perfectly with you and not with me. But if they're not interviewing both of us, then who knows, right? They might choose the wrong agent and they might lead them down a path that they don't even want to go down.
Yes, I totally agree. I met somebody last week and they said, man, we've seen one house with you and you're actually walking us around pointing out the things that could be really huge faults in this home.
Right.
And it's not that I'm here to talk you out of it. I'm just here to tell you the truth. I want my clients to be happy when they purchase a home, not purchase the first home that we go tour.
Right.
Right. So
there's a lot of agents that'll do that.
And that's what I said. I said, what do you mean you've been with other agents and nobody is helping you really take a look at this house? Because we're going to do it with inspections. So would that agent rather you spend $1,000 or $700 and then look? And they were like, well, we just have not. These are very different experiences. So it really matters who you work with. Met a client the other day and they're like, Jen, I just want to be honest with you. We're interviewing a couple people. And I'm like, I think that's fantastic, because it almost is like a little bit like dating, right? You're going to be in a relationship with this person. You want to trust them and they're going to be your guide. So don't be offended to say, hey, thank you for your time. This isn't working out with me, and move on and find the right person for you.
Right. No, I agree. I get that all the time too. I was just at an open house and someone came in, they had an agent. They told me that, but as I'm guiding them through this home and explaining everything about the home, explaining creative financing and what they can do, they actually looked at me. They said, Kyle, my agent's not doing this. I'm actually going to open houses on my own. Wow. Can I get your number so we can actually sit down and get a game plan going? Because I use game plan about 15 times doing. So he became accustomed to using that word too.
And like, we're not offended to do game plans with people, strategy sessions. And then at the end of the day, if you're not ready to buy or you don't even buy with us, it makes me happy knowing that I can give you that information.
Right.
So that's the thing, is like, I know that also people get excited to just go shopping and go to houses with agents. But again, it's worth taking the time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to sit down with them and see what kind of value they're going to bring to the table and make you feel better about the process.
Oh, yeah. And again, it ties all back into interviewing agents. Everyone wants to sit on their phone and pop up Zillow because it's so easy and it's
convenient.
It's convenient. It's not scary. You don't have to step out of your comfort zone. And we don't want this process to be scary. You know, we're people. We're normal people. We'll connect with you. We'll build rapport with you. Yeah. We're not here to pressure you into anything.
I actually say we both dare to make it fun.
Right.
If possible.
Yes, that's what we do. I mean,
with as little pressure as possible.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, you know, that's part of our goal when we meet people. We don't want them to be scared. I know that you think the same way as I do. We don't want people to be, you know, intimidated by us because of our title.
Right.
We're people just like you. We're just experts in our field, and we're here to guide you on the biggest purchase of your life.
Yep. And again, take the pressure off. Because you have a 5-minute conversation with an agent doesn't mean you have to work with them.
Right.
Because if you're going to go and spend so much money on remodeling your kitchen, wouldn't you call a few contractors to be like, what's your timeline? What does it feel like talking to them? Do you have any reviews? You'd get a little more information about them. And if you feel like it's going to be a good fit and fit in your budget, or maybe what their knowledge base is, it's the same thing with us.
Right. And we were just talking about it earlier today. You know, you were talking about your hair and you're trying to decide what hairdresser to go to, right?
Hairdresser closer to my house.
You got to go to a specific one that's going to be tailored to your needs.
Right.
Me, I'm a golfer. I'm an avid golfer. So if I want to fix my swing, I want to go to a guy that's going to fix my particular part of my swing, not some other guy. And I got to interview a bunch of different instructors to figure out if he's the right fit for me.
Because they're not all created equal.
Exactly.
Same thing with us.
Exactly.
So I think we drilled that point home because again, it's
Yes,
just
that's huge.
meet people before you're shopping because they're going to give you tools. The last thing we want people to do is to be shopping in a home they can't afford and then be
100%.
bummed out when they actually get lined up with alignment and a lender and a team. And then we're shopping for things that like you're still holding that dream house that you're holding the bar to.
Right.
That's
right.
not fun.
Yeah. And I think that leads right into step number 2,
Yeah.
game plan and alignment.
Yes.
Right.
So the game plan and alignment we were talking about was when we meet couples sometimes or even families and there can be some like disjoint ideas about what they really want.
Right.
And so we say game plan and alignment for your real estate agent, but I also say step number 2 is really being clear with what you want as a customer, right? Like I'm going to buy this home. What are the most important things that I need in a house? And then what are the things I want? And when I was brand new, I worked with this couple and I love them. And they both had different ideas sometimes.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time going through these homes where I was like, wait, she's actually okay with a modern home. And he's still on this mid-century modern. So while we saw all these incredible homes, I think we were not truly aligned on what it really had to be because it's not necessarily going to be all 10 check marks. We're shooting for 8 or 9 out of the 10 for a home that we're going to find for you. But those 9 points have to make sense as a couple and as a family first.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, 100%. And I think, having that game plan from the get-go and dialing in those specific points of, what your wants and needs are, that opens the picture up for the buyers because they might not know what they want, right?
Yep.
They want to buy a home, of course, but they might not be on the same page. And that's the whole goal is to get everyone on the same page because we're all, a little family once we get started here.
True.
So I think that's a huge, huge thing is really getting into, the wants and needs and building a game plan. So, for them, the spouses to be on the same page, but not only that, but for us as agents to really know what they want so we can make our search for them more tailored to them.
Yes.
Right.
Totally. Like 2 examples that come to my head is one, I met with this couple just yesterday and she's so excited to move here to California from Texas. And we were getting pumped on that. And she's like, Jen, I just need to move no matter what. And I'm like, okay, what kind of budget are we working with? She's like 800. And she's like, but my husband's more conservative and he might be at 650. And I was like, ooh, that's quite a spread, right? Yeah, that just took us from an amazing townhome to like standalone house in a lot of neighborhoods that you can be in closer to the center of San Diego. So I'm like, I want you two to meet over the weekend. So I like give them a little homework. And this is what your agent should be doing with you is giving you these little action steps to guide you. It can be overwhelming, right? Or it can be murky, or you can both have ideas and you think you're on the same page. But price is a big one. And then the other thing I wanted to say is sometimes timeline can be an issue. Like with one person super excited to go and the other one's like, well, maybe in a couple months.
Right.
Because it doesn't always make sense to be shopping if you know that you don't want to move until another season.
Right. Right.
Because homes are going quick.
Yeah. No.
There was one more thing I wanted to say too, but I'll remember it.
Yeah. No. And just to add on top of that, again, what we're trying to do here is trying to eliminate the scare out of this process because I get it can be scary. But another thing, while this is part of the interviewing process with the agent, we'll kind of step back and then get back into this game planning. But you don't always. I feel like a lot of people think that they have to, meet in an office setting. They have to meet in this scary environment that they're not accustomed to. Mm-hmm. They don't want to do that. They don't want to go to an office. It just feels pressury.
Sure.
I don't know if that's a word,
but
pressure,
it
can be, right?
It can feel pressury.
It can feel pressury.
We're using that word today.
Yeah, it can feel pressury. So I know you and I both, we like to meet at coffee shops.
Yes.
I feel like that's huge. Everyone loves Starbucks. I don't know any person that doesn't like a Starbucks.
It's just easy and it's everywhere.
Easy. It's convenient and you feel comfortable there. You get a coffee, you sit down and you're just chit-chatting with another person. That's what we really want someone to think about this, right?
Yep. That's exactly it. And so again, I know what I wanted to share.
Tell me.
So
let him know.
I had this younger client and he was all excited. We were literally in an escrow.
Okay.
For this older home. He knew exactly the neighborhood he wanted. But the home was, again, a little older. And as we got into the inspection period, his mom got involved in like
Mm,
one day before our inspection contingency was due, right? That's like the period of time when you have to back out as a buyer, like the true
right,
time. We're
right.
checking out the house fully. So even though he felt really good about it, his mom came in about at least 2 weeks into escrow to really share with him, hey, scared of this termite report. You don't want to get an older home. Had all these really sound ideas. Like as parents, we care about our kids and our family,
Course,
right? We care what our parents say to
course.
us. But at the same time, it would have been helpful as an agent to like help him get united as a family to like what's important for this home buy. His mom was going to help him
Exactly.
buy it.
Yes.
So again, I'm not scared to back out of an escrow. I want you to be happy with the house we're going to buy.
A
But it would have saved us
100%.
because that seller was a little frustrated. And again, it happens and it's okay
Yeah.
because it's okay to change our minds. But the more time we take on the game plan, then I got him in a new build. He's totally excited. He got the unit that he wanted and it's finished being built with like new floors, new everything.
So his mom was happy
So his
too.
mom's super happy, which
See,
is the
there we
goal,
go. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Happy mom, happy wife, happy life,
There
all
you go.
of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's part of
So
the game plan.
alignment matters.
Yes, alignment matters. And that's a perfect example,
Mhm.
right? Having that conversation with them in the beginning and learning what he likes, what his mom is helping him buy,
Yep.
and learning what she likes,
Yeah.
and aligning them together. So we're all on the same page.
Yep.
I think that's imperative.
And again, it's going to be your agent that leads you to a lot of this, but you also have to share with your agent who are all the decision makers involved.
Right.
So that as we can get a better picture and like kind of zoom out and make sure we're taking care of like all the parties and asking all the
100%.
right questions. So
Exactly.
and then the last step we want to share about today is really like creative financing. And the biggest team member besides a good agent that you pick is going to be your lender that you work with and
Exactly.
pre-approval. So do you want to kick some of these ideas off? And I know there's a lot we could talk about.
Yes, yes. And this is what excites me, creative financing, especially in an up and down market like we're in. Again, back to what I said about the elephant in the room and, these assumptions of market's going to crash. I don't know what the economy is doing
Mm,
and all these things that's scaring all these buyers away. What they fail to realize is by not interviewing an agent, by not setting up a game plan, and then meeting with the creative lender, because that's who we pair ourselves up with.
right.
You don't have a chance to learn about this creative financing. And there's so many ways that you can get into a home and have financing that makes sense to you
Yes.
and have a monthly payment that makes sense to you, where you don't have to worry about the interest rate. You don't have to worry about, what's going on in the world around us, because you're going to be rock solid with your monthly payment.
Right. Because you keep looking at that payment and being like, are we
Exactly.
good? Even week to week as things change.
Exactly. So a few just across the board that I've personally helped my clients with. One of them is the 2-1 rate buy down. And, not a lot of people know about that. It's becoming a little bit more popular, but especially in this market, it costs, a good chunk of change. I think anywhere from $12,000 to $16,000. And that could scare a lot of people off too. But in an up and down market, you could get sellers to pay for this because their home has been sitting on the market for so long. So that's just one way. And this 2-1 buy down, what it essentially means is you get in at the market rate of whatever it is, 6%, 6.5%. But for your first year, it knocks down 2%. So you're only paying a 4% interest rate. Now that totally saves you on your monthly payment.
Yeah,
and
big time change.
People don't know about that because they just see 6.5% on social media, on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And they
just
think
hit 7, by the way, yesterday.
See,
so it goes from 7 to 5 the first year.
7 to 5, and then
the
it
next
bumps
year,
up 1 more percent. So it would go up to 6%. But by that time, we're so on top of everything, and we have good lenders on our side that we're going to be letting you know when it's time to refinance.
Yes.
And that's important because people get stuck in the right now. They think, 7%, nope, can't do it. I'm out. I don't even want to talk to anyone. They're not looking, if I get in now, I have less competition. I can get this rate buy down. And in a year or so, when the rates do drop, all I have to do is refinance into a 30-year fixed loan.
Yep.
So there's a lot of options out there. That's just one of them. Do you have any others that you personally have used?
There's a couple, like speaking like hot news off the press, and watching this later, it may not be as recent, but Biden and Harris just rolled out this total change with FHA.
Yes.
So FHA is a program for first-time home buyers, and you're required to put 3.5% down which is better than conventional at 5% coming in, right?
Right.
And so their mortgage interest rate, which is another payment that you have to pay, anything less than 20% down, we're going a little deep, but
We're getting deep here.
there's
We're
mortgage
getting
interest
deep.
rates, right? So the mortgage interest actually just got lower for FHA, which will save you anywhere from $800 to $2,500 a year as a first-time
Wow.
home buyer. So that's more money in your pocket.
Mhm.
That's helpful. Another thing is, last year we were seeing the end of the seller's market, right?
Right.
In San Diego, especially, we were seeing the prices of homes dip a little bit.
Right.
And the buyers slow down because everybody was kind of waiting before the holidays. Was an interesting time. So we started to see the first time within 2 years, sellers pay for credits, which could go to 2-1 buy down. But another thing for my clients that didn't come in with a lot of cash in their pocket, whether you're VA or FHA, and really, not everybody has 50 to 100K saved as a nest egg.
Right.
And they want to
Right.
buy a home and come to us and is this possible? It is still possible because the sellers are paying for credits for your closing cost.
Right.
So closing costs can be anywhere from $8,000 up to $15K at the end. And that's something that doesn't really get talked about.
It isn't. Yeah. People only think of their
So-
mortgage. They
And
only-
even with
right,
VA, it's like 0% down. And while there's no down payment,
Right.
there's still closing costs.
Right.
So we can help you
forgotten.
get creative now with our lenders, knowing how much credits we can ask for. And we can roll that even into the loan. So even if our purchase price that we're offering is $500, even if we have to offer $520 to be in competition, right, and still stay
Right.
high, what you pay the difference in your loan is literally like $30 a month at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It comes out to something really small, and that can save you from having to come up with $15,000 in the deal. And
Right.
that is just helping a lot more people get off the fence and be able to do something right now.
Right. Right. And again, I'm big on the misconceptions.
Yeah.
So bear with me here.
We're going to go
Um,
down here.
Yes, but I think another misconception with most people is, if they go through these 3 steps and they speak to a lender,
It's scary to
it's
talk
like
to a
that they're
lender.
locked. They think they're locked in. Like,
Yes.
oh no, I have to buy a home now. I have to, my credit's going to get
Yep.
checked and I'm screwed. That's not the case.
Mhm.
Just by speaking with the lender, let's say you find out that you're 6 months out, your credit's not run right there. They're not. They do a soft check, so it doesn't take a hard check on
Right.
your credit, so it doesn't hit you hard. It's just basically creating a game plan for you on your
Yep.
finance side. And that's something that gets misread by a lot of buyers because
Yes.
they think that they're locked in when in reality, no, this is just, hey, this is what you can afford. This is what your monthly payment will be at. This is what the interest rate's at right now. If we did this rate buy down, here's what it would be at, yada, yada, yada.
Mhm.
Now, do you want to move forward?
Yep.
Right? People think
And
that
I
they
want
just
to
get
take
locked
the
in.
mystery out of that too. There's so
Yes.
much fear in this step. And again, that leads us to really having people go out there shopping when they don't know the number that truly matches their monthly payment.
Right.
So I want to take some mystery out and say it's wonderful online that Zillow and all these things have a mortgage calculator, but it's not accurate.
It's not
Because they're
accurate.
not taking in your debt, your income ratios, any of your credit. There's a lot of factors that will give you your exact calculation of where your mortgage will be. So
Right.
that gets confusing for people. Also, with our lenders, they are willing to not only within 24 hours give you a pre-approval,
Right.
so it can be that fast, but they'll have just a light conversation with you. If you can give them all your numbers, you don't even have to run everything for them to give you like a prelim number. And so I want to share about the differences between working with our rockstar lenders versus like the big bank names.
Right. Yeah, that's
Now,
huge.
if you are high luxury and you've had your money in a big bank for years, they can sometimes not be beat on the
Yeah.
rates for
They'll give you some
jumbos
leeway.
and some of those higher
Right.
tickets.
Right.
But when we're talking about under 1.5 million, even especially under $1 million, working with a lender that is going to be either a broker or a private lender, or ones that work with your real estate agent really closely, they can do more creative things.
Mhm.
They can help you with costs and keep things down that we can share more about. But it just helps at the end of the day. And they're going to give you more plans. They're also going to do what we call fully underwritten, which is getting into a little bit
Talk
of
to
lender
us about
terms.
that.
So
Just in layman terms.
okay, layman terms. When you chat with a lender and you get what we call a pre-approval, right? Now, a bank can spit you out what's called a prelim letter, and that means you didn't even put in any real information.
Mhm.
So they're just giving you an estimate. And sometimes people think that's even a prequal. But a pre-qual is the next step where they have all your information, they run some numbers, and they give you a letter, which is what you have to write an offer.
Yep.
So a bank will do that, a lender will do that. Now, what makes a difference when you're working with a great agent and a great lender is we take it a step further and we start running your loan even before you're in escrow. So a lot of places won't start that process until you're in escrow.
Yep.
So if I'm the listing agent and Kyle comes to me with we're not going to give any names of banks because that's not nice.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
But we've got this big bank A over here, and I know that they're pre-approved for 900. And then I've got another whistle agent that I know their lender, and I know that they're fully underwritten, right? Or their lender's even calling me and saying we're like 2 steps away from being completely underwritten package. Then what that means in layman's terms is like this loan is already like 80% of the way done. Versus yours, I already know is 15% of the way done. And with interest rates going on right now the way it is, we're having like 40% of escrows fall out due to loan issues.
Yep.
So we want to take care of our sellers when it's my listing and really say, hey, I'm going to take the better offer that I feel good about. Not only that, this lender is going to call me at 7:00 at night and talk to me about their client and make me feel better about doing a deal with you. Versus, sorry, Kyle, I'm going to choose them over your person with bank of whatever.
Yeah, no,
so does that make sense a little bit to kind of take the mystery out of it?
I think it does, and I think you explained it nicely. On the front end right there, and just to even add more to that, you even touched on it, but listing agents like to see that you're working with a private lender because of that exact reason. Banks, they're not giving you that full underwritten pre-approval. So they tend to close a little bit later. There tends to be
what that means is troubles with closing.
Troubles with closing.
So that we can be clear about it.
Troubles with closing.
Longer closings.
Yes, longer closings. They're typically Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So you can't get a hold of them on Saturday and Sunday. And I mean, you and I both know our jobs last till Sunday until 10 p.m.
Starts Friday at 5.
Starts Friday,
and then
exactly,
ends
right?
Sunday at 6.
Sometimes we get that little vacation Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right.
But
we take odd day off.
Yeah.
So,
but
and that is what I want to share is just like to not be scared. If we can leave you with one thing today, it's that there's so much creative financing out there that you can do so much with just talking to a lender. Right. I mean, another, like you said, people feel like they're locked in. I had a client yesterday ask me, well, I'm not ready to talk to a lender yet because we're going to shop in 6 months. And so just start searching for me, Jen, at this price point. And I was like, whoa.
Perfect example.
Slow the roll.
Perfect
because number one, if you just chat with my lender, she's a freaking whiz genius, DM me if you want her information because she's amazing. Okay. But she will just be able to have a total candid conversation with you and give you a snapshot based on where you're at. So that will give you an idea. You don't have to run any credit yet. And when you really are getting locked in, you want to see what the payments are. You want to run your credit, do the whole thing, say you're going to put an offer in. But then we're waiting and you take a couple more months to shop more.
Yep.
Now, most lenders will tell you the textbook answer is 90 days. That's good for. But private lenders will say, if your credit's amazing, I don't need to run anything for a good 6 months.
Exactly.
As long as when you're shopping, another hot tip is don't buy any cars.
No
motorcycles.
Do not.
No,
that's a
don't
big
buy
no-no.
Don't go in on a golf park. Okay. Whatever your investments
maybe you can do that.
Might be, don't do it during an escrow process. So keep
don't do that.
Keep your finances even, and you're going to be able to keep that pre-approval for many more months to come.
I feel like people forget about that too. They
They
don't know that. They feel
myth.
like once they get into a home, they're free and clear. They can go buy that car that they've been wanting for the past year, right?
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's 100% right. That's a big no-no in the real estate world. Yeah.
And the last thing that I want to share is that we are in a time that is considered volatile, right? With the interest rates changing.
Yes.
So what's tough is a client that looked 2 months ago and knows their payments, well, shoot, they just went up this week, but you know what? They're going to go back down. So what that means is you're going to have to check in with your lender and your agent to say, where's my payment at right now? Right. Because it may shift as interest rates shift, your purchase power shifts a little bit.
Yep.
So again, we want to make sure that we're not putting an offer into something we can't afford, or interest rates just went down and that might help us.
Right.
So now we have a little more purchase power.
Right.
So I think that's a good place to kind of stop with just those three steps because there's so much in that.
Yeah.
But I know that we're going to keep the road going for what else that we're going to share with buyers. And then we're going to flip the script and talk about sellers.
Yes. We're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to continue wetting our whistle We're going to wet your guys' whistle as well. We will be coming in with new cocktails.
New cocktail, and let us know what content you guys want us to talk about too,
please.
because again, this market that we're seeing right now is a completely different market in San Diego from December.
Yes.
Where there was things sitting on the market for months. Even those homes are getting scooped up with multiple offers. So the competition is back.
It's back.
It matters who you work with. You want to work with people that are going to be in your court for life.
Yes.
Which I believe that Kyle and I are those kind of agents.
That's what we do.
We don't want just one transaction. We want to work with our people, our friends, and create family. So
I think that's the big takeaway, right? Like these 3 steps are so important, but find that person you can trust. And again, this is the biggest purchase of your life. Find the agent that you can trust, because they're going to give you their people they trust, like their lender, like their contractors. If you have any problem in your house, down the line, have them in your court. So I think that's so important to build that relationship with a good agent, because we want to be friends for life. We want to, walk this journey along with you guys and see the progress that you make when you first buy your home, to the renovations that you do, to the next
closer
home.
To that dream home,
right. So I think that's, that's the big gist of this, is really, get out of that bed, stop looking at Zillow, right? Get out there, get out of your comfort zone. We're good people. We're here to educate you. We're here to, we're the experts in this field. We're just here to guide you. And
we're here to make a roadmap.
Exactly.
Whether it's a game plan, whether it's 1 month out or 6 months out. And we hope this was helpful. And take care.
Yeah.
Your whistle with us next time.
Cheers, guys.
We'll have more creative cocktails. So cheers and happy shopping.
Woo.